to Noob-Splaining. My name is Wolf. If this is your first time here, this is where I explain the gloriously over-the-top world of Warhammer 40,000 that nerds like me love so much. So hit that subscribe button, grab a drink, settle in, and prepare for a Noob-Splaining session. So, welcome to this week's video, and I might as well be honest, this series has become a combat patrol review. So this week, I'm going to look at one of the many Space Marine combat patrols you can get, specifically the generic Space Marine one that is clearly meant to be the Ultramarines. So, as always, just a little bit about the Ultramarines. The Ultramarines prior to the Horus Heresy were the 13th Legion of the Space Marines, led by their Primarch, Roboute Guilliman. Roboute was not only an excellent tactician, he was also a logistical expert, and his Space Marines also inherit these traits. Under his guidance, the Ultramarines carved out a mini-empire within the Imperium from their homeworld of Ultramar, which spanned over 500 worlds. They were one of the largest legions due to their logistical skills, and, if the rumours are also true, due to the fact that one of the missing legion's marines were folded into their numbers. It is speculated that prior to the Rangdang genocide, the First Legion, the Dark Angels, were a bigger legion, but the severe losses they suffered fighting the Rangdang left the Ultramarines with the superior numbers. However, for every person who states that, there is an equal number of people saying the Ultramarines were always the bigger legion. After the Horus Heresy, it was Roboute himself that declared the legions to be broken into chapters of no more than 1,000 marines. As a result, a large number of chapters are from the Ultramarines gene seed. The fact their gene seed is very stable and has no mutations also helped make them the template for a good portion of most of the chapters out there. Over the years, the Ultramarines have become the poster boys of 40k, as they are a proud and noble legion, fierce warriors and stalwart defenders of humanity. They're also pretty fucking boring, and don't have any bad habits like drinking blood like the Blood Angels, or any secrets like half their legion turned into chaos during the Horus Heresy. Dark Angels, I'm looking at you. As a result, it makes them great generic good guys for the setting. I say good guys very loosely, as remember, the Imperium is a fascist, xenophobic, authoritarian dictatorship. Even when you take into account that Space Marines are taken as pre-pubescent boys and spend the next 8 to 10 years being indoctrinated and transformed into the genetically enhanced transhuman that is a Space Marine. But with all that considered, the Ultramarines are definitely one of the good guy chapters, and probably one of the most lore-friendly to introduce someone new to the setting. Probably why they are the poster boys. These are the Ultramarines, proud warriors and stalwart defenders of humanity, and that's all you need to know. So, their combat patrol box has just 12 models in it. All the previous boxes we have looked at so far have had 20 to 30 models in it, so that should give you an idea of how powerful individual Space Marines are, especially the ones in this box. The downside to this is losing just one model from a squad, and you have lost 20% of that squad's firepower. 2 models and you're down nearly half your firepower. But considering what's in this box, I don't think you need to worry too much about losing models very quickly. So, in this box you get 1 Space Marine Captain with a power weapon, Stormbolter and Terminator armor, 1 Space Marine Librarian with Terminator armor, 5 Primaris Infernus Marines and 5 Terminators, including 1 with an assault cannon. Now, I know I keep saying these combat patrol boxes are somewhat balanced, so you can just grab 2 and start playing, but this one doesn't feel very balanced. A standard Primaris Marine is tougher than a $2 steak, and the fact you have 2 Space Marine characters in there in Terminator armor plus 5 more Terminators is not what I would call balanced. So let's go through them. The Space Marine Captain is an absolute unit. Now, use his Stormbolter to shoot as many things as you can, but ideally you want to get him into melee combat as soon as possible, as he's going to tear through enemy units, characters and tanks like a hot knife through butter, especially with his strength 8 melee attacks. The Terminator armor means he's getting excellent survivability as well, with either a 2+ save or an unmodified 4+ save. Even from the most powerful weapons, he has a 50% chance to ignore the damage. And with 6 wounds, he can take a lot of punishment before going down, so get him up close and personal with the enemy's commander or elite units quickly. He could probably easily take out a tank on his own as well. The Librarian, pretty much exactly the same as the Captain, uses Stormbolter or psychic abilities to shoot the enemy while you get him in close, so he can use his force weapons to tear the enemy limb from limb. The only real difference is he has 1 less wound than the Captain. Now, if you pair the 2 of them together when attacking tough units, characters or vehicles, they will pretty much annihilate their target in 1 turn of close combat. The Infernus Marines. Armed with pyroblasters, which are souped up flamethrowers, they get D6 ranged attacks each turn, meaning anything between 6 and 30 attacks, which is a disgusting amount of attacks. However, they are limited to a measly 12 inches in range. So the first 2 turns you're going to be running them up the battlefield to get them into range, but with a 3+ save and 2 wounds each, I doubt you're going to lose any more than 1 or 2 getting them up there. Once in range, their strength 5 ranged attacks makes them able to devastate pretty much any enemy infantry units and most characters. They will struggle against bigger vehicles like tanks or dreadnoughts, but light vehicles like bikes or skimmers they can easily take on. The Terminators. Definitely a range unit, but can easily hold their own if they get locked in melee combat. With 3 wounds each and a 2+ save or 4+ invulnerable, they ain't going down easily. The 4 Marines with Stormbolters get between them 8 attacks at strength 5, which doubles to 16 attacks if the enemy is within 12 inches. So don't have them sit at the back, use their tanky armour to get them up close for those extra shots. The assault cannon gets 6 shots per round with devastating wounds, meaning that for every 6 you roll to wound, the enemy can't roll on their armour save against it, even if it's an invulnerable save. So the tactics are pretty simple for these. Move the normal Marines up to burn all the infantry with Emperor Chris's Holy Wrath, use the Captain and Librarian to take out the enemy's big guns and characters in melee combat, and then use the Terminators to fucking annihilate anything in range. Taking out the big guns and characters is a priority though, as without those powerful attacks, your enemy is going to struggle to take down those models in Terminator armour. Yes, you might get an unlucky roll, but the odds are in your favour against most models in a combat patrol box. As I mentioned earlier though, every time you lose a model, you're losing a lot of firepower compared to the enemy, but then you should not be losing models at the same rate as say the Tyranids, who were last week's video, if you haven't watched it yet. As for Space Marine special rules, nothing really unbalanced like the Eldar Strands of Fate or the Necron reanimation protocols, which can be totally abused. But each turn you get to choose a doctrine for each unit that allows it to shoot even if it advanced, which will be good for the Terminators and Infernus Marines to get them up into the battle quicker, or you can shoot and declare a charge in the same turn as you fell back, and finally the unit eligible to declare a charge in a turn which advanced, allowing them to get across the table and into combat pretty quick. So you want to be using this on the 2 characters every turn. Now, things to add to this combat patrol. First, I would add some assault intercessors, so you have a dedicated melee squad, and some heavy intercessors for some more long-range anti-infantry unit firepower. Apart from the characters in melee, this box doesn't really have any anti-vehicle weapons, so you might want to throw in some devastators, or maybe a dreadnought to deal with vehicles at range. Obviously, you also want a Land Raider, because Land Raiders are fucking cool. The lack of actual range on the shooting for this box though, I suppose is the balance. But then the Terminators and the Marines are quite capable of taking a lot of firepower before going down, with them all having higher than average toughness, wounds and saving throws, meaning most of the dice rolls are always going to be in your favour. Personally, I think having a captain in normal armour, a squad of assault intercessors and a squad of heavy intercessors would have been a more balanced box set. Plus that means you're also getting 21 models, not 12. But still, this box also represents some good savings. It would cost you more to buy the Captain, Librarian and the Terminators separately, so you're effectively getting the Marines for free. Overall, a good box set with some very powerful units in it, but as for fun, I think most other combat patrols will struggle to take down the Terminators. Now, would I get one? No, but that's because I already have everything that's in it, but if I didn't, I would be on my way to the store to buy one right now. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next week. And there we have it, that brings us to the end of this video. If you laughed or learnt anything, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and if you are already subscribed, then don't forget to share this video with somebody who could do with some noob-splaining in their life. Also, leave a comment on your favourite part, I do try and interact with every comment. But if you made it this far, thank you, and I'll see you next time.